Back with another video. This time I'm getting my hair retwisted. I know the background was way different than the rest of the videos. I'm here with
Queen. Everybody knows me as Queen, but my name is Christina Clement. I'm also running for president, so make sure y'all vote November 5th.
for sure. I'm gonna have her links in the bio so y'all can go tapping with her. She's on TikTok, Instagram, all that. But here, I go to start what? Cause like I said, you've been real consistent with your TikTok. Like I follow you.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you feel the need cause I feel like a lot of I agree we do deserve back for everything we've been through, but why do you? Me personally, I don't feel like I don't have the drive to put the time into it. What gives you that drive to really put your time and your effort and probably your money into making this work?
One, because it's for the kids, right? We've been talking about slavery and reparations and making wrongs right for years. It's over 500 years at this point. And my children, they seem to think that racism doesn't exist because I teach them to love others, right?
Right.
And instead of wanting to teach them that racism does exist and hate does exist, I prefer to give them a world that they see through their eyes because that's how it's supposed to be, right? And what's a solution for my kids will also be a solution for your kids and other people's kids, because nobody want to go through that, right? So if for example my child was shot wrongly by a police officer, or my child was locked up and was innocent, I would turn around and be expecting the community to help me, right? So one time I was protesting with these parents who their kids were shot by police wrongly, and I just couldn't understand how these senators and all these representatives was just ignoring them, having their regular conversations, all that, and it pissed me off. And at the end of the day, I don't want to wait till something happens. I want to address it now. And I know that when I'm focused on something, I'm just laser focused on it until I'm done. So I can't expect somebody else to have that same kind of drive when, if it's in your mind, then God gave you that gift.
Right.
So
it's interesting you say that because, like I said, I'm from Pittsburgh, and my viewers from Pittsburgh would know there was this kid, Antoine Rose, and it was so long ago, and I forget the exact situation, but I do remember something had happened, and he had ran from the police and was shot and killed by getting shot in the back. So that's something I relate to a lot. So that's why I was when I see you do it, it's I really want to support it because it is something that needs attention to.
And in my research, I've just learned that the laws, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, all that, those are really laws to protect the minority party, which is a different group than us. We technically are the majority party, and there's no laws there. So when people go, how come, when a black person and a white person do this crime, the black person gets such a higher sentencing?
Right.
Because there's nothing there protecting us. So in the court case that I'm on with the District Court of Columbia, I'm contesting the oath, I'm contesting the election, and then I'm fighting for the restitution of those wrongs. So the amount that I'm demanding is 500 quadrillion for 1.4 trillion in population, including land, right, to give it back. So I represent the Afro community, the indigenous, the aboriginals, and the Afro natives. So in terms of, if somebody's like, but why don't we see you campaigning? Because I already know the issues of the people, right? It's the same, the injustices, the educational disparities, the prisons and all that kind of stuff. So the court case really faces all of those issues in there, and we're up to the settlement part in terms of getting a settlement done for that amount.
Yeah, so that's good. So with this whole process, what do you think has been the most challenging part in getting to because like I said, you've been doing it for a while to get to where you're at now in the process. What has been the most challenging thing about it?
The most challenging part is to actually get our people to support it instead of knocking it, right? Because it's something new. They're used to how something is ran. But I would never put nobody in a position to break the law or whatever, because once we're in position, I'm going to expect people to follow the law, right? So, of course, I want them to follow the law. But if it's something that is unheard of or they don't have the knowledge of it, they're scared of it at first. So the hardest part is to actually get the government to respond. Or, you follow the rules that it says send a certified mail. You send the certified mail, but then they don't respond, right? So this case actually could have been done in April of this year, Yeah. Then they respond finally with a date of July 17th and still didn't do their part. So it gets a little frustrating when you are following the rules and then they're not following their own rules. So it's like, okay, where do we go from here? But in history, it has shown that every time we diverted from the rules, they never tell the public about this part of it. So it would just look like, oh, you didn't follow the rules, you created this group against the government, now you got to be penalty because you broke the law. But they never talk about how you followed the law, and they didn't never respond according to their own law. So I have patience. That's the beautiful thing about locks, how it teaches you patience. So I got time to play with y'all.
Right.
I got time. And the more that this goes, the more that it just proves my point. So they can go either way. They can go either way. We'll just add interest to the extra time.
And I feel like that's a big reason why, like, you don't see a lot of people doing what you do, because it's so hard to get heard, get responded when you putting in the effort and still doing everything right. That's why I say, like, I agree with a lot of the things you say, but I just feel like if I was to put my time into it, I would get so frustrated with that part of it that I would probably just not be able to stick through. So, like,
but you have it though, right? Because if I spoke to every person that they would tell me your name. Right? And how old are you?
I'm 19.
So for 19 years, you have consistently told people your name.
Right.
It's the same muscle I'm using. Right? If you're passionate about something, you don't see the time. You just see, I need the result. Right? If you say, I need me my own apartment, that part in your brain that you just get laser focused and you start doing the things to get you an apartment. That's the same muscle. Or you say, oh, I need a job, but I want this job to be like this. Then you start researching the job, and then you start doing the things that you're supposed to do to get that job until you finally get the job. Right? That job just happens to be this. And I'm tired of hearing the injustices. I'm tired of watching the news, like that lady they just killed, the Sonya lady.
That situation was the fact that after everything that's going on, and then we still got that going, and like they have body cam footage, and it's still going,
and it's blatant.
Like it's just I saw that and was just disgusting.
So it's like how. I'm not a person that could be numb to it, That bothers me on a whole nother level, like that was my sister or my brother or my whatever, you know what I mean? When I hear the stories of stuff that happens to people that share it to me, like it's just not a story, like I take it like, damn, you just did that to my mom, right? Damn, you just did that to my whatever. So after I had a client that I still do, but she has 3 boys, and all 3 of them are locked up, and they gave 100+ years to one of them, and she as a mom is the one going to visit them, but they're in each different states. Imagine that pressure, and it frustrates me that I have the mind that I have, but I was hesitant to help her because I didn't want to do anything to potentially add more time to them. Right? So, but my help was to find out how I can help. Right? So in that journey of reading laws and stuff, I was just like, oh, here's the problem right here. We have none. So that puts us in a better position because you get to create the shit. So now I submitted laws on our behalf. which is really more acts in their language until it gets into their House and Senate and all that. And again, here we go back to that frustrating part. Like, I can't just walk in there and submit this stuff. They got policies and procedures where you got to go through the senator, you got to go through your representative. But have you ever tried reaching out to them? They don't respond. And one of their representatives had the nerve. Hold on, let me take that. That's my son.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I submitted acts and like blatant murder acts, right, and hate crime. So that's gonna be a law for officers who blatantly, like that Sandra case, that if it's blatant, it's no longer in their jurisdiction. It's gonna be in our jurisdiction. We're gonna put them in court, and we're gonna, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like how their DAs and stuff kick in and take over. No, we'll be the ones to handle those, right?
Right.
And speak on our behalf. We just were missing a representative to protect us, right? So we're like the lost children who don't have no parents out in this world. And ain't nobody out there doing it, right? Yeah. And even the people who look like us in those positions, they more so trying to fit into the minority party laws and follow those rules to the T, which again, if they're following it, it leads them away from protecting us, right? Because there's nothing there. So that's what I've been doing in the court case, is just submitting all those rules to protect us.
And then hearing everything you said, you're doing it alone, and I know it's hard to like build a team, but have you ever thought about like trying to find like a team of like-minded people? Because I feel like if you had a team, y'all could also, it would probably maybe help with the lack of, you know, responding, because now it's like more than just one woman trying to make this happen. Now it's a whole, you know what I mean, a team of people coming together. Have you ever thought about that? Of
course, that was my first plan.
Right.
Is to get people, right? Because there's research, there's typing, there's second guessing yourself, you know. But right now I had to make God my team. He's not gonna fail me at all. But what I've experienced with people who claim they want to be a team is they, like most people, don't have the time to put in, right? If it's not this immediate result, then they fall off. They probably give you about 3 months, and then all of a sudden things are happening and you don't hear from them. Or they come in expecting to get paid for their time. And if I'm using majority of my money for this, and I'm not getting paid, I don't understand how you expect me to pay you for your time when this is gonna affect your kids and mine.
I'm about to say, this is bigger than just trying to make money. This is trying to make a real change.
But if you can't see that before you present yourself to me, there's nothing for me to tell you, right? That means that you really didn't do your homework, right?
Yeah.
And I don't have time to teach you, because I'm teaching myself the things that I need to learn in order to get this done. And you know, I just with my whole heart, I really do believe Trump and his team is trying to bring slavery back. And once they make that law, we're gonna be in trouble. So I really don't have time to play with nobody or impress their ego. And you know, college is wonderful, but there's something amongst our people that when they've gone to college, they want to throw these titles in your face with no results. You know, I don't have time for ego-driven people. I don't have time for people who want to just come into this project for money. I don't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or they say they're gonna do stuff and then you expect them to do it and they didn't.
Right.
Because now you dropped the ball where we were supposed to be a lot further, and I have to go back now and pick up where you left off, and it just throws the whole motion out of order. Just trust that for a person who wants to help, they don't need me to do it. They just need to bring attention to it. That's it. And if you bring attention to it, then it will work itself out. But in terms of the paperwork part, I got that for right now.
Yeah.
And if you want to get paid, then sit tight. We're going to have a hiring thing when everything is said and done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You just got to trust the process. Because I get it. Some people can't afford to volunteer that kind of time. Hell, I can't, right?
Yeah.
But when you're on assignment by God, He moves mountains.
For sure.
Right? So He takes care of the birds. The birds want for nothing. So, I mean, you're not living in no mansion or anything like that, but you ain't suffering either.
Right.
You know? So it's all about perspective. It's all about perspective. But I know it's going to happen.
And then you brought up Trump. Do you think, because I keep seeing stuff about the election coming up, and like I told you, I'm 19, so like I just was able to vote beginning last year, but seeing how the elections go, like I'm sure you see the ads, their energy just doesn't, neither side, it always seems like each side is trying to tear the other side down. There's never positivity. Do you think this upcoming election will have any like effect on what you're trying to do? In fact, in terms of like maybe if Trump wins, will it be will your situation be worse than if Kamala was to win, or what do you think that would affect?
My plan is to have this done by November 5th, right?
Right.
Because I never picked on people in high school or middle school or any of that. So to go as an adult now and not talk to the people about stuff that matters, that's just not my mode, that's not my vibe, right? Yeah. I don't have time to look into Kamala or Trump's background or any of that. Right. All I know is that they've both been in position and they still haven't done anything to affect us.
Exactly.
So to have to take people's donations to do rallies to talk about that, to me is a waste of time when I can just focus. Exactly. And again, the people that I represent are on the shorter end of that financial picture, right? Yeah. So why would I take their money for that? That doesn't make sense. And then it shows the type of leadership that I'm going to come. I'll take your money and waste it. Because that's what it translates to. So I'll allow them to go ahead and continue the show because it does bring attention to the election. It does show people what, the more that they're going, the more that I hear what the people's response, right? Mm-hmm. And they'll say, oh, is that what you think of us? You would put this rapper, or, oh, why are you talking about when we need to be talking about this? So while they're doing it, in terms of your question, they're helping me understand what I'm missing from the people's needs, and then I just add it to the court case. So come November, I can show up with solutions, right. Real solutions and not promises, because I don't got time for false promises. I want to see results at this point. Right.
Results are long overdue.
Man, beyond, and I've never been the one to need to be entertained. So I hear it, but when do we get to the real solution that's affecting us? When do we get to the point that people are being evicted for real? When do we get a point where doctors are killing people low key, or these companies that are not selling healthy foods? When do we get to those solutions? So I present them. These schools, they need to help the farmers. The farmers need help. All right, let's let the schools make class trips. Instead of us doing agriculture in those plastic cups and we watch that one little seed. Yeah. Have these schools go and intern at these farms, and then we can get some real food. Right. And it helps with their budget. Have these mental health classes in the school. Have the reparenting classes in the schools. Let's do those things, right?
I like that you bring up the schools, because that's I just graduated high school, and looking back, there's so much time wasted on just useless information. Like your teachers will literally tell you the information is useless, and they still sit us in the classroom
and teach it. When But then if you get out of school and you do something that broke the law, they want to throw the book at you. But you have 4 years in high school. You could have had basic criminal law.
Literally.
You know, our culture, our boys start to divert from the mom by like 12. Between 12 and 14, you start wanting your own mind. We need this rites of passage in there, right? Because women can't teach men how to be men because the thought process is different. We're more passionate. You guys are more like, okay, how do I protect the hut, right? So why don't we have those rites of passage classes there? Why don't we have those rites of passage in school for the girls? So we can now, when you're dating, you're not just dating the wrong person, right? Or somebody who's hurt. It's like, oh, do you know your last name? What do your last name stand for? You know, and bring that pride back to the family's name. We need those things. But in order to get it, we have to do our own schools, our own banks. So I did the paperwork already for our own charter, which is a bank, and I'm doing the paperwork for our own universities and schools where we can start teaching hands-on stuff, right? Instead of thinking that rapping and music is your only out to wealth, I want to start funding those programs for those innovative thinkings. Like, we're in America. People should be like amazed when they come here.
Right.
And we're not getting that. You can only look at the Statue of Liberty but so many times. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
We need to be having some innovative stuff when people come here, like tourists or whatnot. They're like, have you been to America?
Yeah.
You gotta go. But, you know, the answer of what that looks like is in you guys. But if we took away art and we took away all the creative things to like juggle up that creativity in your head, then what good is it? You know, our banks will be giving loans based off of your artwork, right? To help you. So the artists don't have to see money when they die and it's going to their family. Like, you get to enjoy it because that's a gift from God.
Right.
You know, the Bible says your wealth is where your heart is. It don't say, oh, paint now and when you die, your family gets to enjoy it. No, you want to be able to provide for your family now.
Right.
So we'll have that evaluation department.
Right. Cause I kind of like relate to that because like I was telling you, like I'm out here in Atlanta trying to get my clientele because I picked up photography and just overall video creation real like seriously. It's like a good creative outlet, and it's like because I was playing basketball. And then I got into trouble with my attendance and couldn't play, and then that's how I got the camera. But with that, I decided to just film my friends and stuff playing basketball. And through like playing with it is different when you're actually like filming it, and I'm like really like I'm watching their story and watching their growth, and I'm watching their like struggles of them trying to chase this dream. And that's why I feel like I was telling you with the cost, and it's like I'm not really making a difference, but now I'm helping these kids who want to reach their dream. I'm helping them get their story out. And a lot of times in sports, like you said, we get, you didn't say sports, you said rapping, but like us, especially with black men, we get like, we're rappers, we're athletes, we're
the
like,
entertainment.
But I've been trying to get into like, no, we're whatever your name is. You may play basketball, you may rap, but that's just something you do. That's not who you are.
The character.
Right. And then that's why I agree with you with the how we need to change the schools thing, because especially with the
But I can hear you.
Yeah, with the clients you were saying you had with the 3 boys in jail, I feel like if the schools were how you said they should be, they probably wouldn't even have been in that situation.
They wouldn't, because you would have had a common knowledge, at least of the basics, right? Of law. So if they was in a situation, it would have hit them like, oh, this ain't it. I remember in class, you know, you said this is whatever, and they could have made a better judgment, right? How many times? And then they say the law doesn't protect ignorance, right?
Right.
All right, but how could you say it doesn't protect ignorance if you never knew that you had to protect yourself from that?
Right.
Right. They introduced driving. That's the law.
Yeah. Right.
You can introduce driving, and how do we know to drive on the road? Because you mandated us to read this driving manual to know it. So we need to have those criminal things in there too, so that you know at least the basic. That way, if you still did it, I can assure that you knew it.
Yeah, you knew it.
But to throw kids in juvie and give them these high sentences with the assumption that they knew, no, that's not fair.
Right,
that's not fair
at all. And then I've been blessed with a big brother who he's 10 years older than me, so he went through everything before me. So all the way growing up, he's like, bro, don't do this, don't do that, bro. If you do this, you're gonna go to jail. Like, so instead of getting it from the school, I was blessed to get it from him. But I still grew up in the hood, so I've seen people who don't have that father figure role like my brother played, and they tend to get into the situations where now they're in trouble with the law, and then this is one big thing I dislike with the law. When you get in trouble when you're young, it carries over as you continue to grow up. So you really don't even get an opportunity to learn from that mistake.
That it hinders you.
Yeah.
And that's not fair. That's not fair. That's like a lifelong sentence, right? And it also gives signs of convict leasing, or that was a law in the past that they omitted. Right? But they omitted it and never replaced it with anything.
Right.
So if you never replaced it, then there's this loophole that you could still use, right? And it's wrong. And it's wrong. And basically in the court case, that's with District Columbia, I'm just holding them accountable to it because y'all know it.
Right.
If anybody know it, it's the ones who created it, right? And because you knew it, and you claim that you're supposed to protect the rights of the people, then at what point did you do that here? No, instead you exploited it. And there's so many innocent people in prison. That's kidnapping.
Honestly.
That's kidnapping, and it's wrong. And at this point, America right now is facing their karma. They can't go forward until they make it right. So it's in the best interest, because once they pay this restitution, it also would benefit their deficit.
Right.
Because quite naturally, we love to spend, we love to look good. That money's gonna go into there. So it really is like one hand washes the other. You fixed your wrongs, and it also would loosen up on your debt. So it just it's a win-win for everybody.
And then, like I said, I was like born and raised in the hood, and there's a lot of like very like people I know that could get work done, but like I said, they probably have like some legal trouble they got into, so they're not able to get a job that they may do. So like you said, if they would just open that up and let the people who could work actually work and make a respectable wage doing it, like the whole country would definitely benefit from that.
But they're not gonna do it until we represent ourselves.
Right.
And that's basically, I submitted the legal framework again, that for laws that protect us from them, since the Constitution and Bill of Rights is protecting the minority from the majority, but they never had laws that protect the majority from the tyranny of the minority. So that's what we did. And that's what's gonna make the scales of justice even.
Right.
So you have laws and we have laws. And so pretty much we meet together with the common law. So if somebody broke it, then it's like, okay, you clearly broke it.
Right.
Now you gotta be addressed. But not to blatantly know that we didn't have any laws and then use us to work for free. That's slavery.
For sure.
And they claim slavery was over, but clearly it's blatant. But for that, and for the knowledge and the intent of that, then those wrongs have to be right.
And then I think another thing, like you said, we have to come together. I think another thing is hard because like I keep going through it because like growing up in the hood, I just seen so much. But it's like I'm trying to do the sports thing, and I also like try to do the music thing because those are like the main outlets for us young black men. But I see it all the time. Like I know two artists that are like really good at, really passionate about their music and really can maybe make a change for their families and their cities. But instead of focusing on the music, they tend to just argue with each other over he said this, she did this, and then they got the the hood beefs, and now we got black on black crime. So I think that's another thing we got to work on, and that's kind of like how like because like I said I believe what you do a lot, but I just wouldn't personally be able to do what you do. That's why I respect what you do, and that's how I think I'm trying to make my impact through like trying to like just help these athletes, these not even just athletes and rappers, these young black men, these young kids, whatever they do want to do, I just help them do it. Like I know I don't really know her, but there's this one girl, her name's like Amira on Facebook, whatever. She does like she sells candy. And like I said, I don't know her, but that's so cool. Like she was able to move to Atlanta. I just saw on Facebook she bought a school bus just off of selling candy, and like stuff like that. Will like now other little girls is going to see her, and instead of, and I think like we just need more of that, so more we could all come together and then ultimately get that equality that we need.
Well, just imagine a circle, right? And it's let's say it's like 10 of us, right?
Yeah.
In order for that circle to close, it took each person to lift their arm and grab the next one.
Right.
So you just got to focus on your purpose. What is your plug, right? And then once you do your plug, then it will connect the dots later.
Right.
But a lot of us, we want the help in the front.
Yeah.
People are not going to help if they don't see you help yourself first.
Right.
Right? So you just have to have no fear. Even if people be like, oh, that's crazy idea or whatever. If you had the idea and you had the thought, it's yours. The only difference is you may not see a template.
Right.
That means that you create the template. That means it goes by your rules.
Right.
Right?
For sure.
So unapologetically create that lane. If that's what you feel is the route that you need to go on, then do it. Right? And then all the people will come after. But they don't come in the beginning. Why? Because it was your vision. They can't see it.
Right. And that's something I've been learning because I got, like, I've been blessed. I have, like, a good amount of friends, like, and I'm like, they see what I do, and I'm like, yo, it would be dope if y'all would help me, if y'all do this, that, and they don't. And I, like, kind of get frustrated, but like you said, you gotta, it's my vision, too. I gotta make this work and show them, and then they'll probably eventually come around.
Yeah, but right now, this is when it becomes a testimony, right? God shows His existence through you, right? So it's like when you feeling frustrated, you be like, all right, God, I know you gave me this thought. This is my gift that you gave me. Give me wisdom, clarity, and discernment on how this goes, and just listen and be 100% obedient. Because He's never going to steer you wrong, right? But what happens if you fought, and these people came and helped you, and then they took it this way, and they took it that way? Right. Now you're distracted from painting. Right. Because essentially that's what you're doing. You're painting the future and what it looks like. Right. Right? So you don't need distraction when you're painting. Right. You just need to be focused, silent, hear God guide you, trust that He's gonna guide you, and it's gonna turn into a beautiful masterpiece every single time. That's how you're made in God's image. You're able to create the reality you want to see. Right? So they will come. People will come. You know what I mean? Just like how you wanted to schedule the appointment. I didn't call you and say, hey, you want to schedule it? Something in you said, I need to connect here. Right. And it connect. That's what's the same thing is going to happen while you're building your vision. Right. Identical.
And then kind of off subject, but not off subject. We were mentioning God a lot. But growing up, I really never had that connection. Like, it always just seemed so, like, I don't even know the words. It's just, like, so much with the different religions. And just, you know, like the Bible, there's so many different Bibles, so many different...
It's confusing.
Yeah, so like...
But I never mentioned religion or Bible. Right. I say your personal relationship.
People say that, that's why I hear a lot, yeah.
But you know you had a relationship. Anytime you said, something told me...
For sure, yeah. And like every time I manifest something, yeah, I definitely believe in it.
Who do you think that is?
Yeah, no, I believe in it. It's just, I feel like... I've always believed in it, but it was always like a
facade.
Not even a facade, because I do believe it's real, but why do I believe it's real? I don't know why I believe it's real.
Well, then those are the questions that you need to ask. And that's the part of building a relationship, right?
And that's what I'm struggling with. How would I?
Because when you meet a girl, don't you take her out on the date?
Right.
Then you get on the phone and you start talking to her.
Right.
Then you asking questions, and then you listening.
Right.
That same muscle. Okay, prime example how I did it, because that's what these paintings are, right? I was in this confusing space, trying to understand who I am.
Right.
Once I understood who I was, people around me started to leave. I'm like, we knew each other for years.
Right.
I'm heartbreak, but
and
then,
that's funny because I just had that happen.
Right, and then you hear people come in your life for a reason, season, and a lifetime. Who said that? Those are your ancestors who already met that spirit, reminding you we're spiritual beings, right? So I had this, okay, God, I know I'm ready now to learn who you are, but I don't know who you are. I don't know if I should be Muslim, Jehovah's Witness, this, that. You know, what am I supposed to do? What's the rules, right? And it literally said, love me with your whole mind, body, and soul. Love your neighbor the same, right? So if you reflect on that to apply it to your life, you're like, well, if I'm supposed to follow that principle, then how can I pick one? Because if I'm supposed to love my neighbor the same, then if I go into the Muslim one, I'm supposed to love the Christians. I'm supposed to love the Jehovah's Witness. So let me pause there, because they reading the same Bible, but they ain't practicing it.
Right.
And then I heard, in order to know where you need to be, you need to know me for yourself first.
Okay. I
said, all right. So I made a commitment to God. I'm going to make you my best friend.
Okay.
What do you do with your best friend? You talk all the time. All right, God, you know me, so I'm going to bring it to you how I bring it. Forgive me for my cursing, forgive me for all that, but you made me, so you know who I am.
Yeah.
But this is where I'm stuck. And then I'm reminded he moves mountains. So anything that seems huge to another person, it don't feel huge to you because you built that relationship.
Right.
And be like, God got it. And in that journey, you start seeing whimsical stuff happen. Right? You ever been so worried about something, you can't figure out a solution, then next thing you know, you met somebody, or you got a check in the mail, or some weirdness?
Yeah, for sure.
That was God moving mountains.
For sure. Especially with, like I said, I do the camera and the photography work, so nothing's consistent. I don't know when anything's going to come. A lot of the stuff just comes.
So you've been on faith day one.
Yeah.
So now you just got to understand and respect the source it's coming from.
Right.
And when that happens, you could walk in any room with no problem because you know God is there.
Right. And I think that's why the cost in the job was so, like, mentally draining for me, because, like, that's not what God has for me. Like,
that's it. And then you listened and you came back to Atlanta and you said it's all or nothing.
For sure.
And then you came to interview a presidential candidate. You see how he, you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
He's, man, God don't play about us. Especially
because I was like, I know we did speak about the deal of just doing the camera work for the retweets, but I was like, I still felt like it was like a kind of like a fetch, because I know like a lot of like locticians and hairstylists, they got to make their money. They're trying to make their money. They're not trying to get just a free service or get a bargain. They got So I was kind of heavy, because like I said, I've been out here since Monday. I've been needed the retwist, but I don't know, something just last night. I'm like, man, let me just go ahead send her the. And you peeped, I sent that at 2 a.m. I was like,
and you peeped that was up, didn't it?
Yeah, that was what was really surprising, that you really responded right after it. Then it wasn't even really like a back and forth. It was just like, okay, when? I said, tomorrow. Not even tomorrow. It was the same day, really. So yeah.
Fear is false evidence appearing real. And every time fear comes in my stomach, I always imagine being on a roller coaster, right? You know when you get on the roller coaster and it brings you up and you laughing and you like, oh shit, because you've been watching. Yeah. And then you get to that peak part and they make you look down, but it sit there right there. Yeah. That's what fear is. Yeah. And then guess what happens? It goes. Your stomach is going through all the shit, but at the end of the day, you came out the ride laughing. Yeah, that was a good analogy, because I like roller coasters, but it's always that. Like, I like roller coasters, but that going on, I'm still scared every time. Every time fear shows up, it feels identical to that. Right. But that's that muscle, right? So every time I feel fear, I'm like, what is this? Because we're never in a bad predicament, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you follow your gut instincts, you get a blessing. If you don't follow it, you get a lesson that hurt, but you learn.
Right.
So what we worried about for real?
Right. That's like a quote I just posted. I said either I win or I learn.
That's it. Literally.
Yeah.
So why not take advantage of the most important time of your life, right? Because on your tombstone is your birth and your death.
Right.
But you get to create whatever you want in between that.
Right.
Why not go hard?
That's it. And then, like I said, the cost, I'm like, knock on wood, I think, and I do have, like, I don't want to say fear, especially with how you just said it, but I always, like, seeing all these young black men die, I'm like, bro, I could die just because of how I look. Like, I gotta go do what I can't really be waiting around at no job. Like, knock on wood, I'm going to live longer than...
we claiming it.
Yeah,
100 plus.
sure,
100 plus.
It's
but
just like...
the reality of the world that we're in, it could just be, tomorrow's not promised.
Right.
And that's not just for men, that's clearly for women too.
Yeah,
you understand what I'm saying? So, we already know the odds. So why not live to your fullest potential?
Right. And then it's been another thing I've been struggling with. It was like, it's like you want to do what you're passionate about, and you also want to be able to pay rent at the end of the month.
And your heart is where your therapy, what is the saying? Your passion is where your heart is. But that's also gonna fund everything.
Right.
Because you'll never feel like you're working every day.
Right.
When you're doing what you love to do. Right.
And that's what I had to, because like I said, I was blessed with my older brother. He told, like, I just, like that call center job, I took my last check, spent it on my ticket, and I ain't really had too much money left over. My brother's just like, bro, just come down here, you can stay with me, we'll just figure it out.
It's a blessing.
And I said, and he's been telling me this since my mom passed, because after my mom passed, it was like, he was telling me, bro, just come live with me. And I'm like, bro, like, I'm trying to have my own crib, like, I ain't really trying. But living in that.
You still didn't have a plan.
Yeah, I didn't have a plan, and like having, like I said, doing what I'm passionate about or paying rent. That crib, I'm like, I gotta pay rent, so I gotta put my passion aside to make sure I got this rent. But now I'm looking at the crib, I don't even really want this crib.
Because now you go there just to sleep
and my friends was telling me that
you're unhappy.
My friends come over, they're like, bro, where's like, you don't got no posters, you don't got no. I'm like, bro, I don't even like this crib, bro. I'm just here until like.
But it's okay. You have something to compare it to, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So the experience. So now you appreciate the opportunity your brother gave you, and you just go hard with it. Make it worth it.
Yeah.
Make it worth it. Because for him to offer it, it's almost like an investment.
Yeah, honestly.
He sees it in you, right? So if
he's seen it in me since I was born. It's been weird. It's been a weird thing. Like he been telling me like, bro, you're gonna be great. You're great. And I'm like, all right, bro, you're my older brother. Of course you're gonna say that. But it's like, I feel like now that I'm looking at it and I see and I'm not comparing, but I'm looking at kids who didn't have that older brother telling them they're great. And they're just working these jobs and thinking it's like they don't think much more of themselves. I'm really appreciative that he been put that in my head, because now that I'm older and it's really time for me to like make a life of myself, him putting that in me like really giving me the motivation. Like, yeah, I could really just start my own business at 19 and make it work.
So I think you should give your brother his flowers.
I give my brother his flowers all the time.
Okay, thank you, brother.
Yeah, that's why I'm making sure I put it in there. But he just dropped me off. I give him his flowers all the time. He was just thanking me for it. I said, bro, I'm gonna give you your flowers regardless.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up.
Cause like I said, I live when I'm in Pittsburgh. I'm in like the hood, like the one of the cheapest hoods you can live in Pittsburgh. And like them, I be talking to them, I'm like. Cause we everybody started working like the 9 to 5s. I'm trying to get people like, yo, save some bread so we could travel, so we could like get out the city. And they're just like, bro, what? Like, I'm not. I'm like, they like hesitant. And I'm like, bro, my big brother's the only reason I think it's so normal for me to just leave. Like my brother, ever since I was young, he's like, bro, if you want to come, just come. Like the ticket only like $200. I'll pay for it. There been a couple times I came down here, I ain't spent nothing. He just covered all the expenses, paid for my ticket, was waiting for me at the airport, took me to his crib. I don't gotta pay for food or nothing. get to experience living in Atlanta.
So now while you're here, pretend that you still gotta pay rent. You know that
Right.
urgency of having to get that money?
Yeah,
And just work your business just like that.
for sure.
Like, yo, I gotta pay rent. I gotta pay rent. I gotta pay rent. And you'll manifest deals for that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, and it's been, I've already kind of like had to like, cause I moved, one of the times he had me down here, I stayed down here for like my first 2 years of high school.
Mm-hmm.
So I have like a partner, Carson, shout out Kari Apparel. He does his, like, he grind. Like, I don't, we work with each other every now and then, but like I said, I haven't been locked in. I've been in Pittsburgh and he's just been here just locked in working.
Well, it sounds like you need to connect.
No,
It's a like-minded.
we got a photo shoot coming up. I'm just waiting on him.
That part.
Because like I said, Kari Apparel, he's dropping his second pair of clothing. And then he gives me inspiration because I wanted to drop clothes, but I'm like, bro, that's like a lot to do and I don't know if it's going to sell. He said, bro, I'm going to do it. His first drop, he profited. I said, oh. And
Nice.
I did the photo shoot for it.
Nice.
So yeah, working with him just gave me more inspiration too to really just take the leap.
And I would get on Eventbrite and wherever the event you want to be a part of and introduce yourself. Look on the U.S. code on media and what rules and what associations you need to set up with. And that way you can get regular emails for you to come and do your photography stuff and start networking.
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
So connect with media associations that you can be a part of. Connect on Eventbrite and then, you know, contact the organizers and offer your services and just keep moving. And use your calendar. If you ain't got nothing scheduled on that date, you ain't working hard enough.
For sure.
Your calendar needs to look like a full job.
Yeah.
How many hours you did? 10?
Yeah, 10.
Then
10 to 8:30.
those are your hours.
For sure.
On your calendar, you need to have something covering those hours.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And you'll be good. You gon' with consistency and you're gonna get the results you're looking for. But do you even know how much you need to make?
Really? And then that's another reason why I was like, bro, I need to just go to Atlanta. So I was making, if I was to go to work one time, clock out one time, I would make $700 a week. I just one day one of these rappers in my city, he gave me $100 to shoot a music video for him. To shoot a music video, that music video, especially because he picked me up and took me home, that took me about 2 hours to do. So if I can make $100 in 2 hours off the camera, and that's $100's on the low end because like I know him, so I was just trying.
Okay, so
to make
I
it
was
work.
thinking more like, all right, you know you need a vehicle,
Right.
you know you need a place to stay or to contribute to your brother's place, right?
Yeah.
What does that number look like? Gas, clothes, equipment, how much would that be? Okay, based off of that,
Yeah.
then you would say, how many jobs can I do in a day that pays me? Let's say you can do maybe 3, right? Because maybe minimum is 4 hours a job, right? So 4, 8, 12. So you're looking at 3 jobs a day.
Right.
Okay, so in these 3 jobs, how much do I need to make in that month to cover this cost?
Right.
That would give you another number on how to base your how much you charge.
Right, because that's something I'm definitely struggling with right now, like how to charge. Because like I said, this is something I'm passionate about. So there's definitely been times where I'm like, bro, I'll just do it for free. It's fine. I don't really
But
care.
then how are you paying for your stuff?
Right, exactly.
So you know you got to do your market research, right? For that kind of job, they're charging this, and this. With let's say you just research 3 other media personalities that do what you do, right?
Yeah.
Okay, out of that, and this is what my goal is, then where does my numbers fall?
Right.
Right? In between that. And then you can talk to the person like, I know what you're asking for typically costs this. If you go to this person, because they're your competitors, so you know, they charge this, but my quality is above that or equivalent to, and I charge this.
Right. Yeah, and then I definitely tried that. There's a shout out Great Cloud Media and shout out Dream Shots Media. Dream Shots, he does like sports, but Great Cloud, he does like music videos. I had reached out to Great Cloud before I left Pittsburgh and was like, could I come do some behind the scenes work for you so I could just like see how you work and really so I could just pick his brain. And he was like, he has a whole different approach, and like I definitely like you said, he has like packages, and I watch his story like you he's having those 3 jobs a day. Like he was real cool about it. He said, yeah, I got something at 6 and here's the location, just meet me there. I meet him there, we did this shoot. He was like, yeah, I got 2 more shoots to go to. If you want to come, you could. I said, oh, well, shoot. Now, I was around the city seeing how he worked. So, like, I definitely already do it now, but it's just, like you said, our goals are different. So, like, I got to, like you said, I just got to really
know what is it
look
you
at
want.
my goals I need, and then the hours.
And your numbers come from there.
For sure.
Yeah. So, you got it. You just got to do your own homework.
Yeah.
And then perfect your craft after that, and stick to those numbers, right? Stick to those numbers, and if you know you're weak on certain things, then that's where I will negotiate. Until I build that skill up, and then I can bring those numbers back up.
For sure.
And you're in there.
And then a lot of it been like you said, I'm still learning, so like I'm like, what am I? This is like I'm 2 years into it, and I think I'm just now at the point where, like, because when I first started, I was just happy people wanted to book with me. So I was like doing like way too much cheap stuff. But it was like, for some reason, like if I would give somebody a price and they said it's too much, I would feel like I just missed the client. But now I'm finally learning, like, that's just not my client.
You just gotta understand your value.
Right.
Because sometimes people will take advantage.
Right.
Or you can negotiate where your bottom number is still the same. Right? All right, I can do the deposit here, but then because sometimes they say way too much, it's because of budgeted reasons.
Right.
But for something that you want, you're going to find that money.
Right, for sure.
Especially if you want to use me.
Right.
Right? So if you want to use me, and here's why you want to use me, then I'll take this up front, then you can drop here, and then the day of, then you come with the final balance.
For sure.
Just like airplane stuff, airplane tickets or whatever, they don't budge, right?
Yeah.
But they'll show up to the video with red bottoms and lump sums.
Yeah, that's what I always say. I'm like, y'all can't pay me $40, but y'all got the designer, y'all got the.
But if you was willing to bend, then I won.
Yeah,
because even in real estate, buyers want to spend less, sellers want more. So the negotiation piece is like somebody lying.
Yeah, for sure.
But I know the work that I'm gonna put in with the editing, the footage, the whatever, and I gotta pay for the software. So there's a bill. So it's like it's like your job. You can't tell somebody, oh, I'm gonna write a check for you and I'm gonna send it to you. No, you gotta go through approvals to get that check to that person, right?
Right.
Or you be like, hey, this is my part of the job. I can't do that. I'm not authorized.
Yeah.
So when you are paying expenses,
you
can't go lower than that.
For sure.
So unfortunately, I can't. And if they can't understand that, then that's not the client you want to work with.
Just not my client.
All money ain't good money.
For sure, cause and then I ran into that too. I had like just lowball my prices so I could get booked at the AAU tournament. I'm like, bro, I'm not.
And then you wasn't happy.
Yeah, I wasn't happy at all. I went through like a whole slump of just not creating. I'm like, nah.
So who's at the fault?
And that's my fault, because I should have had my price where I wanted it to, where I'm working comfortable.
So that's the lesson learned.
For sure. So
to avoid that pain, you provide the answer.
Sure.
And then move from there. And then if you see you need some adjustment, then you evaluate that after you trial and error. But then you keep going. So that's what you be seeing on my platform. I tried this. They say I couldn't. All right, let me write over here then.
Yeah.
This one. Okay, I ain't hearing nothing. Who else can I contact? All right, I'm gonna try over here. At some point, somebody's gonna open this door.
Somebody's gonna have to give.
Because I know I'm not doing this just to see what happens. I'm doing this for an answer.
Right.
So you ain't gonna get rid of me.
Right.
This book, the book right here, it took 5 years.
Yeah, I can tell.
This case, it's been going on since February. So if they don't understand I ain't going nowhere, I don't know what to tell them.
Right.
But I'm here. It's happening.
Sure. You make your presence felt.
It's happening.
For sure.
So if you want it that bad, then it's no other option. There's no plan B here.
Yeah, that's another thing I gotta lock in.
No plan Bs. So then you get super tunnel vision. at that point. When it's all or nothing, that's your life. You eat, sleep, you talk it, you walk with it, you talk to other people. Can I take a picture while we talking?
Yeah.
Then somebody, oh, you took pictures? Yeah, that's what I do. Here's my card. Well, matter of fact, give me your number. I'll text you my virtual card so I can follow up.
That's what I need to do because I have the cards, but I feel like people be losing them or something.
They do.
Yeah.
And then you can't follow up.
Yeah.
So you
need to work on my follow
up. Go on Canva, do your QR, and say, hey, let me get your number so I can follow up, and my card is on there. Boom. So now when you're doing a special or you're doing a shoot at this park, you can send a blast, and whoever want to come, they come. And you might get 2 or 3 out of there.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, I'm shooting over here. After a while, they're going to start getting ready. They're like, oh, he's shooting. I need to pick. Everything you do this month, you see a result next month. Right. Everything you do next month, you see the result next month. But if you do so much this month and then stop, you lost them.
Yeah, you lost all the momentum.
So you are ready to drive.
Oh, yeah. Didn't do an outro. I was going to do it while I was getting my hair dried, but I didn't know if y'all could hear me over the dryer. But thank you guys for watching. Tune into everything she has going on. Tune into everything I have going on. I have a lot of links in the description for you guys. I'll catch y'all on the next vid.